Welcome back to another episode of What's Hot New Mexico. My name is Nakayla, and I'm the host of this podcast. Today I have with me a local comedian named AJ Deleon, and he's ready to make you laugh, smile, or raise an eyebrow at some of his jokes. If you're ready for a good laugh and a good time, then join this podcast. Thank you so much for watching, and we hope you're here for the next one.
If you enjoy our podcast, please like and subscribe and consider becoming a digital subscriber to the Albuquerque Journal to help us bring you more content like this. You can find this episode and all of our podcasts on the Albuquerque Journal website, abqjournal.com, as well as YouTube, iTunes, and Spotify. See the show notes for a discount code on a digital subscription. Thank you for supporting the Albuquerque Journal, New Mexico's leading news.
Hi, my name's Nakayla. I am the host of What's Hot New Mexico, and today I'm here joined with comedian AJ Deleon. How are you doing today?
How are you? I'm doing good.
I'm doing good. It's Friday, so it's a good day.
Excited for the weekend.
Heck yeah. And so you're a local comedian in town, born and raised. And so first off, I want to know, what is it like being a comedian?
It's crazy. It's tiring because everyone wants you to tell a joke 24/7. Like the first thing anyone says when you tell them you're a comedian is like, "Oh, what's a good joke?" And you're like, "Knock knock," and then you don't tell them a good joke just because it pisses you off that they're asking you to instantly tell a good joke. You know? But it's fun. It's cool to connect with everyone out here. It's cool to make people laugh. So
Yeah.
That's what it's like. Just make people laugh, piss people off too.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure comedy is one of those fields where you either get a really good laugh out of someone or you've bothered them for the rest of the day.
For sure.
Have you ever had any hecklers at a show?
So I hadn't had like a lot because usually I like to think I'm pretty funny. So I don't usually piss that many people off to where they're like visibly or verbally mad, But this last Tuesday, I do a show every Tuesday at the Block in Rio Rancho. Which is a cool shipping container space. If you haven't been there,
it's so cool. I love it.
So there was a lady, and I have a new set. It's about religion and growing up religious in Albuquerque. And I immediately, when I said, "Who's Catholic?" she immediately was like, "Watch your mouth." And then being a comedian, you're like, "Nope, I'm not gonna watch my mouth. Now I'm gonna."
That makes you want to do it more.
Exactly. And we had a back and forth battle until finally they kicked her out. They were like,
wow.
Yeah, I was like, because I get to yell at you as much as I want, and you're still the one that's going to get kicked out.
Yeah, for real, huh? And this is my show.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm sure that kind of made people uncomfortable with the Pope and things like that too. So.
Yeah, for sure. Everyone else was laughing except for her.
Yeah. And so you've been a comedian for 2 years now.
Yeah.
What is it like to actually have that as a gig, like long-term, full-time? I'm sure that's kind of hard.
Oh, yeah, it's super hard. Like I said, I produce, I'd say 8 to 12 shows a month. Sometimes it's a little less, sometimes it's more, and that's just producing the shows. Also, being on other shows is hard to. Full-time, you think just because it's what you want to do and it's your passion that it's going to be fun, but it's not always fun. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, it's harder than a 9 to 5 because 9 to 5s are hard. Right. But you have to have like a big mental capacity to be able to just keep going all the time. You know what I mean?
And I mean, your schedule's probably weird because you probably have late night shows. So that's just a whole lifestyle change for you.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, most of the times on a weekend, if you're at a comedy club, you're doing 2 shows a night. So you're doing one at 7:30, the next at 9:30, and you're probably out by like 12, and then if you're a party animal, then you want to go out after that. You know what I mean? But just depends.
And so you've done The Block. I've also seen that you were at Quesada's Comedy Club.
Yeah.
So tell me about the comedy scene here.
So it is, I would say we're in a renaissance right now, if that makes sense. I guess there was kind of a buildup before COVID. COVID happened, and then it kind of ruined everything for everyone out here. And then around 2022, I want to say, Dry Heat Comedy Club opened up out here. RIP, they're closed now.
I know. I never went, and I was so sad that I didn't get to go.
Yeah, it was a good club. Kelly and Sarah ran a really good club out here. But so that's when I came into the scene, when Dry Heat was kind of just the only comedy club in Albuquerque. And there was about like 2 to 3 bar shows. And since then, we've gotten Quesadas, and we've also added in Hyenas, which is over in the new Windrock Town Center. It's awesome. It's an awesome club. It's a nationwide club.
Really?
So they have like a hyenas in all the different states. You know what I mean?
Oh, cool.
So it's a cool chain club. So it brought a lot of super nationwide talent here because Casadas, they're bringing a lot of people too, nationwide talent, but it's kind of easier when you're already like a trusted name.
Right.
You know what I mean? So Hyenas, they just had like TJ Miller there. I don't know if you know who
Yes,
he is. They had him there last weekend. So it's like I said, it's a renaissance. There's a lot of really, really good comedians. And in the last 2 years since I've been in it, so many different shows have popped up. Like I said, I do the one every Tuesday at the Block. There's a monthly show at Safe House now, Safe House Distillery.
I love Safe House. One of my best
awesome.
friends used to work there.
Hell yeah, they do Teller vodka, all that stuff.
Yep.
So there's a monthly show there. Now there's weekly shows everywhere. There's an open mic every night, and the open mics aren't just comedy either. They're like poetry, music, and stuff like that too. But so there's a really big growing scene in Albuquerque right now.
And for you, what made you decide, like, hey, I actually am really funny and I can make a job out of this? Because everyone thinks they're funny, but not everyone is.
Yeah, for sure. Comics, did you hear what she just said? You guys are listening. Okay. No, but it was weird. So it was 2 years ago. We were walking downtown. It was me, my girlfriend, my dad, and my mom, and a few other friends. And there was a sign that said, like, comedy competition, anyone could sign up. And it was at Bourbon and Boots downtown. And I had kind of been like, hey, I could probably do stand-up, you know? And, like, my dad had kind of been telling me to do it. And then the sign was there. And they were like, should we go in? Like, should you gonna sign up? And I was like, yeah, let's do it. So I go inside, sign up. There was veteran comics there and everything. There was about 10 of us that signed up, and I end up tying for first place.
Hey.
Yeah, it was awesome. First time I ever had done comedy, even like attempted a joke. It was just stuff that I had thought in my head, you know, that would be pretty funny.
For sure.
And it worked out. Then one of the judges of that competition, his name is Buck D. He's a radio DJ on 97.3. He actually, speaking of comedy in Albuquerque, him and this other guy, Six, they just opened a comedy club off of Central and 4th. Their first show is going to be, I believe, next month, but it's called the Rhythm Room. So it's like a comedy alcohol music lounge, I guess, like that. The thing is, though, it's 30 plus. So they only let you in if you're older than 30.
Wow, that's a unique concept.
Yeah, for sure. They want to do like just so that the younger crowd's not there. You know, they get rowdy and stuff.
For sure.
So
and there's not a space for older people.
Exactly, especially downtown.
Right.
So they're doing that downtown. But anyways, he was the judge, one of the judges. Like I said, tied for first that night. He hits me up like 2 weeks later and he's like, yo, I do this annual thing called the Def Comedy Show at Revel. And it's like a play off the Def Comedy Jam from the 90s.
Yep.
So, you know, they would have all African-American comics and then one white guy. And so they're like, we want you to be the white guy. So I go, I do that show. So my first technical show is in front of like 250.
Wow.
So I get there, I walk in, I'm like Eminem from 8 Mile immediately. I legit go to the bathroom and I'm like, okay, this is what he's talking about because my palms are sweaty.
Oh, I know,
you
everyone's
my legs
messing
are
with
shaking.
you.
Yeah, I'm in there splashing water on my face. Wanting to throw up, I didn't. And then I go out there and I have a really good set. And it just kind of like skyrocketed from there. And now we're here talking.
Now we're here.
Cool. Yeah, for
Heck
sure.
yeah. And now you guys all know that there's a new 30 plus comedy club coming up soon. So
Yes.
And for you, how do you develop a set? Because I'm sure there's so many things going on in the world and it might be hard to balance funny and pushing the boundary
For
versus
sure.
getting a little bit too much.
Yeah. And so I think that's like one of my strengths is being able to, if like someone knows me already, I'm kind of like, I already push the boundaries, you know, just in like everyday banter and stuff like that. So I found a way to make fun of everyday situations like being overweight or just like I have a certain set that it's my shit list, and I just
I saw that.
yeah,
I
I
saw
just
that.
went on. I was like, I looked up like who are the most hated people of 2023. You know
Use
what I
Jake
mean?
Paul, and that was a good one.
Yes, for sure, very good one. People love that one, and so that's kind of how that comes. You know, I feel like sometimes people will go up there and they'll try to say jokes that not everyone's gonna. How do you say like?
They might not get it. They might not resonate with
for
it.
sure. Exactly, resonate. So it doesn't resonate with them. So I just figured out that it's the easiest to make fun of stuff that everyone else goes through too. You know what I mean?
For sure.
And that's usually how the sets come together. Like if something funny happens to me, and I'm like, oh, I gotta write that down real quick, you know, or if I see something funny that like if I just observe something that's happening, like a lot of my stuff I feel like is observation of other situations, and then I just kind of tie it into myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, actually, quick funny story that I'm gonna put up is yesterday I was driving and I saw this guy. He's like walking down the street and it's a red light, and I see him run up and spray Windex on a guy's car.
Yeah.
And he's like cleaning it, and the guy puts on his window wipers and he puts it on over and over and over and over. And I, in that moment, I literally was like, "This is so random. Someone needs to talk about this."
For sure.
So I imagine you experience stuff like that.
Yeah, all the time. There's so much stuff, like especially being in the cannabis industry as my other ventures and stuff like that. Seeing like from the retail side of it too, seeing the questions that stoned people come in and ask are just so funny. It's ridiculous.
Oh,
Like,
you can make a whole set off of that.
oh yeah, I do have a whole set of it. Yeah, it's like like some guy one time came in at a store I was at and asked one of the bud tenders, like he never smoked before. He's like, "What do you recommend me?" Blah blah blah. And the bud tender had said cereal milk, like that's one of the strains. And this guy said that he was lactose intolerant, that he couldn't. And so that's a joke that I like to use. You know what I mean? Like, what do you mean, bro? That's not how it works.
Such a random
at all.
thing.
Yeah, for sure.
And so for you as a comedian, I feel like low-key you kind of have to be a good balance of like knowing that you're funny, but also being humble. And I'm sure people sometimes might make digs at you, or you
Yeah.
have to make digs at yourself. So how do you kind of build up your persona to where you can take it and give it?
It's super hard, but you have to have tough skin. Like no matter what, if you can't let like someone telling you that you're not funny or not laughing at your jokes, you know what I mean, get to you. And you also can't let them laughing at your jokes get to you, know what I mean? Because you're not going to kill every single room, and most comics will find that out right away. And the most humbling part about it is the first open mic. So you'll hear of like you want to start comedy, say you do a show like I do, and then you go to your first open mic. You don't realize as an outsider that it's going to be all comics in the audience. And at that point, they're all not only your colleagues, but competitors too.
So it's a tough crowd.
Yeah. And so they're more than likely not going to laugh at anything you say. And so you'll go up there as a first time comic and you'll get super discouraged. And then hopefully there's someone there like I had, because so I do the comedy competition, tie for first. Then I do the deaf comedy show, kill that, and then I decide to hit my first open mic, and I go from those two shows to like 0 laughs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's like a super humbling experience. But then you have someone like I did after. Shout out to my boy Cardo. He's a local comedian out here. He immediately took me to the side and was like, "Bro, you're super funny." He was like, "But I just want to let you know right now." He's like, and told me that like open mics are full of just comedians. So they don't want to tell you that something's funny because they're probably mad they didn't think of it, or they're sitting there writing their own jokes. You know what I mean? And then once you figure that out, then it's a lot easier to kind of know that you're at the open mic just to get your timing. You know what I mean? Timing on jokes. And then once you get to a show, then you're going to see if people are really going to laugh at it or if they're not. And then if you got to trash it or not, you know, and to get back to what you said, you have to have really thick skin. I think that's the most important part. And you have to know that if you're gonna make fun of someone, they're probably gonna make fun of you back, and it's just what it is. You know what I mean? It's just the game that you're in.
For sure. And one random thing that I've always had a question for comedians, is it true the perfect 10-minute set, or what is it that you guys always say that you're supposed to have, like the perfect 10 or something like that?
I honestly maybe am a little new because I really haven't heard that, but I would assume you want to have a perfect 10 minutes, right? If you don't have a good 10 minutes, then you probably don't have business doing anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And are your sets usually, how long do those last?
I do anywhere from 5 to 30 minutes. It just depends on what you are. So say if you're, the way that most comedy shows go is you're going to have an opener, which is technically the host, a feature, and then a headliner. And opener does 10 minutes, feature does 20, headliner does 35 to 40.
Oh, wow.
And so it just depends on what you get booked for.
Gotcha.
So so far I've done 4 headlining shows. So I've done 30 to 45 minutes 4 times. Most of the time I feature a host though.
Okay. That's cool.
So it's tough to have 45 minutes though. It's really hard.
And what are you hoping? I know you said that we're kind of in a renaissance for like comedy right now. What are you hoping to see from all of that? Are we hoping for more clubs, more comedians, or more audience?
Both, all of them.
Yeah.
Everything. Let's hope for. Let's see how this new club does, and just more audience for sure. Because now people are just starting to like realize that there's comedy all the time. Because I feel like just in the last 6 months is when we've had like a lot of returning people. Like I've noticed that, at least with my shows, like at the Block, they're getting fuller and fuller every week. And it's taken almost a year since we've been doing that show every Tuesday for it to finally like catch on. You know what I mean?
For sure.
So definitely more people, and then just more recognition to be able to like have comics from here go on tour and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And then just make Albuquerque like a premier landing spot for comics to come to.
Yeah.
So that we can get like the Theo Vaughns and like the Shane Gillises and like the really big guys to come down here. You know what I mean?
And tell me you don't know. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. What do you want people to know about you and just your comedy in general? I mean, like you said, comedy's definitely revving up here, and I feel like I see more improv groups, more solo acts,
sure.
but it seems like it's finally coming together now. But for you personally, what do you want people to know about you?
That's funny, right? That's a good question. I've never had anyone ask that. I've never even asked anyone that as a podcast host.
Yeah.
What I'd like people to know about me is that I am a nice guy, you know, like despite, I know some of the things I say are a little edgy, but come up to me, talk to me after a show. I'm just a normal person, you know, and just come to comedy shows, have fun. When you're at a comedy show, come to laugh. Because, you know, it's funny how some people will go and then they don't laugh. And I'm like, did you know you were coming to a show?
I swear, I feel like people go sometimes to comedy shows just to prove, like, you can't make me laugh.
Yeah,
I
for
swear.
Sure. And what I really, really want to do is I love this city. It's made me who I am. I've had my trials and tribulations. I want to be able to show people, just like what you're doing, show people like the good and the light in Albuquerque, because they're only, most of the time you're seeing bad news, like headlines and stuff like that. I'm sure you know, working for the like paper and stuff like that, that it more times than not there's bad stuff to say than there is good, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Which is, I'm sure, is everywhere in the world, but there's so much stuff to do here in Albuquerque, and it's been so fun trying to help get the spotlight on it, because it's not just about like me personally, you know what I mean? Like, of course everyone wants to be rich, everyone wants to be famous, maybe you want one or the other, but I just want to be able to like put on for everyone, you know what I mean? And be one of those people that helped start something that makes our city shine in the light that it needs to be. You know what I mean? And shown in the light that it needs to be.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for coming on and
Yes,
bringing your jokes. You made
for
me laugh a
sure.
lot, so I
Right,
don't know if
for
I'm the
sure.
threshold for comedy, but if you ask me, you're funny.
We'll definitely have to get you at a show.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, just let me know and we'll get you to any of them. Especially if there's one that you see that you like love, it's like a comic that you love.
For sure.
Yeah, just let us know. We'll get you there.
Well, thank you so
Yeah,
much for
for sure.
joining, and thanks
Of
for helping
course.
me with my mission, and also being on the same mission of trying to remind people that there is good in the city, and there are
Yes.
so many things to do, and so many cool people.
Yes, so many. Let's get you on my podcast soon. Let's talk about.
Let's do it, man.
So we can reverse it, and I
Let's
can
do
ask
it.
you the tough questions.
Oh, I love it. Let's
For
put me in the
sure.
hot seat now.
Yes, for sure.
Okay.
100%.